News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, here with you till the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. We've got a lot to get to, so let's start it right away. Randy Rocky joining us from Swan Financial, and you can reach Randy anytime. They really do a great job getting your loan to the closing table, and you can reach Randy and his team at 645-0736. And if you're looking for a place to close your loan, the guy to talk to is with us as well, Chuck Crosby. He owns the Crosby Law Offices. They do a great job, and Chuck is quite, well, let's just say he gets the job done, but with a smile on his face. And you can reach Chuck at 499-6360. Gentlemen, thank you for joining today. And myself, Bob Sokoler, you can reach me anytime to get your home listed or just to talk about the process, free of charge, no obligation. I come out, we talk, and figure out the plan, and you can reach me at 376-5483. Well, right off the top, after weeks of rising interest rates, mortgage rates are now falling. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged about 5.10% this past week. That's according to Freddie Mac reports. So, Randy Rocky, what's the story? What, we go up, we go down? It's like a balloon with hot air and falling. What's going on?
Yeah, so this inflation thing is it's tough to tackle. So we're having it's going to be tumultuous for a while. I do think they'll drop a little bit by the end of the year. But we're looking at still high fours, low fives. NMLS number 26362. Yep. So that I just think that's where we're going to kind of end up by the end of the year, which is still not a bad rate. No. I know it's not where we used to be, but it is putting some challenges on people as far as when, they were approved back in February and it was, mid threes, and now you're, low fives. So, people don't like that payment increase.
No, but it's better than the alternative, throwing money down the drain, renting. So
that's right.
Let's move over to Chuck. Tammy sent us email. Again, we're doing our shows on Zoom. We upload it to YouTube. And in case you want to see a rebroadcast of that, very simple. You go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. So we take your emails as questions rather than phone calls. And Tammy sent us an email. She says a neighbor had a tree cut down, Chuck, that was on the neighbor's property. The tree company that the neighbor hired dropped a large branch of the tree through Tammy's shed. She's wondering, what does she do? Who's at fault? The neighbor, the tree company? What's going on?
Well, it looks like, obviously I can't give specifics on any particular case. Always other issues involved.
Yep.
But if you hire someone to do a job and they damage you, typically you could probably go to both locations. The person that did the damage and the person who hired them to do the job for which they damaged.
So what's her first call? Is it to her insurance agent or?
Always to the insurance company, and then they generally will go ahead and start parsing out who they're going after.
And again, that's her insurance company, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And she doesn't get faulted as against her because this was the neighbor's deal. Correct?
Now that's the insurance company, how they handle that kind of thing. I can't tell you that. But from a legal perspective, if I hire somebody to do a job and they damage you in the doing of that job, I'm on the hook too.
Yeah, I got you. All right, back over and listen on this one, Brandy, because this is coming from a real estate agent here in the Louisville area. He's asked us to call him Billy, and he's here in town, and he has a serious problem that many of us have seen as real estate agents. He says a VA appraisal on a property purchased by his buyer came in more than $50,000 low. He noticed a trend of this happening when one particular appraisal company in town continues to come in low. We're not naming names, but those of us who are agents may be tracking this. He's wondering if his buyer should go to another lender And if the VA appraisal will stay with the property if he goes to another lender. Now, I know with FHA, it stays, the appraisal is staying with the property.
Yes, it is. It's 6 months. 6 months. And same with the VA. Now, they have 72 hours after the appraisal comes out to contest it. They have.
Yeah,
that's
apparently they did. And
yeah.
the appraiser said, nah, not going to do that. I'm staying with what I got.
Well, then the only other alternative is to call VA direct, and it gets very difficult and cumbersome. The chances of overturning that appraisal are very. It's not going to be. They're going to have to. What they would have to do is go conventional, which doesn't make sense right now. You want to be VA, so it's kind of sounds like they're going to have to move on from that property or come up with the 50,000.
Here's a question, Chuck, Randy, Greg, and I want to throw this out there. FHA has a bad name to it because of a variety of things, but one of the problems, which also appears with the VA loans now, is that the appraisal stays with the property. So, folks, here's what we're talking about. If Jim buys a house, the appraisal comes in low, Jim goes, and it's an FHA or VA loan, Jim goes to another bank in town, the appraisal that was done either by the FHA or VA appraiser is actually on record, and so the next mortgage company, the appraiser pulls that appraisal for the loan and shows the lower amount. With conventional loans, any appraiser comes in, they don't have record of what was done before, so it's a fresh set of eyes. And I can tell you that we've had experiences where there's been $50,000, $60,000 in discrepancy between one appraiser and another appraiser within the same time period of a week or so, in the same house. So there's a real concern. Yeah.
Well, there is, but I understand your point. It's well taken, but the difference is on an FHA or VA, when people go that route over conventional, it's a much more advantageous loan, lower payment, all the above. So I agree with you. Your argument is why can't they just clear that out and let someone else come in? Yeah. It is a rule of FHA.
But to both your all's point, we might see some more of those FHA and VA loans coming back. I mean, the market's still hot. Aside from what Bob's talking about with the appraisal side, they're just less competitive. You've got more constraints on repairs and things like that. You can't necessarily waive the appraisal. And there's things they don't necessarily have a bad name, but just not as competitive in this market. But with rates going up, we may start seeing, because they are more, they might become more advantageous. You might see more of them, but it doesn't change the activity that's still happening in the market.
Well, I'm going to suggest, and then we'll move on, that someone who's got a VA or FHA loan may lose to someone who's got a conventional, especially if someone's got cash, in buying a home. Just a thought to think about for any buyer who's thinking about moving forward. What type of loan do you go with? If it's a choice, know that there are concerns from.
But here's where my tinfoil hat guy comes in. It's like, does the government want those loans going? If you really think about it, if they wanted to, they could help that flow by lifting the restrictions that cause them to be less competitive against some of the other programs that are out there.
Yeah.
But the raising of the rate, the hungry appetite.
We're talking about the government, so yeah.
I got my tin hat on. I got my tinfoil hat on. Remember.
Yeah, they're still looking at you. All right, Roberto sent us an email, Chuck. He says he's buying a home, and his buyer's agent says the listing agent never sent over the lead-based paint and home disclosure to review. So they got a contract, but Roberto says his buyer's agent never received the lead-based paint or seller disclosure. And now it's been 5 days, and Roberto is wondering, is the contract dead? Is it valid? He also wants to get out of the contract anyway, so does he need to put together with his buyer a letter of termination? Your thoughts?
My thoughts are the contract says what the contract says, so just read it. I think it does say something about that, does it not, Bob?
I believe 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
It needs to be received by 3 days or it's dead.
Yeah, but fairly quickly. because it could be argued if you hang on for a while that you've waived it.
So do you send a termination letter immediately after the 3 days, or if you go a little longer, do you need it?
And let them respond, say, oops, sorry, we sent it to you. You just never got it.
The termination letter.
Yeah. Because you don't want to get stuck in a position where they can say, well, you didn't do anything.
Right.
Needed to our detriment. Now, that's not going to be something that the contract says, but there's going to be a lot of case law on that.
Yeah. So
over communicates best. Don't ever let that stuff go.
Always. Well, and so any buyer who's listening right now, this is important. If you're buying a house, that good faith check needs to be in the hands of the listing agent within 3 days.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and I've seen cases where, the listing agent will come up with some, reason or other, and the buyer's agent will accept that. And then it just keeps going and going. And after you've done that a few times, I think there's an argument that you've waived that. And plus you've got all the ethical violations for not getting that in. And if the deal falls south, your client might be looking at you to come up with that good faith deposit.
Be warned. Got it. If you're looking to possibly put your home on the market, you want more information, give me a call at 376-5483, Bob Sokoler, or go to bobsellmyhome.com. That's bobsellmyhome.com. Randy Alphonse sent us a letter saying he fixes computers for a living, and he usually is paid either by cash or a check. When he gets a check, he goes to the bank that it was issued on and cashes the check. Not sure about the legalities of that. Chuck, you may want to jump in on that. The problem is he now wants to buy a home. His lender is asking for proof that he's made the money that he claims he did. So he's wondering if he shows any sort of invoices, can he get in trouble with the IRS for what he's been doing? Is there any other way to show proof of income, Randy?
I think you answered your own question.
Well, I know. I didn't.
Question, right?
Yeah, right. Randy.
Well, there are a couple things about that. It doesn't sound like he deposited in a business account, because if he did that, we can work off 50% of the gross income that they bring in, as long as they've been in business for 2 years. So, for example, if they're bringing in $20,000 a month, a $240,000 average for a year for 2 years, we could use $10,000 as income. But if he just uses strictly cash and then he's not reporting to the IRS that he's making. Now, if he's using strictly cash, but then he reports to the IRS, hey, I'm making whatever that is minus whatever expenses he has, and he's making, let's say, $70,000 a year, then we can do that. But if he's not done A or B, then I don't see that there's a loan program for him.
That got it. All right.
The key at the end there was, would he have to report it? And yeah, I mean, you need to if you want to be able to get a house. You need to report.
You're laughing, but a lot of people do that. They cash the check. Chuck, any comment? Is that something you want to get in the middle of?
I'd say the IRS might be interested. If you call it income, I'm betting they would.
Yeah, listen, I'll joke about the government and jest with my tinfoil hat. There's one branch of government I don't like to see letters in the mail from. So
yeah, no kidding.
I don't mess with the IRS.
That scares you. All right. When we come back, do-it-yourself home projects that can really mess up your house. You want to pay attention to this. With us on today's show, we've got Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, 499-6360. Randy Rocky, Swan Financial, 645-0736. My son Gregor does our marketing, photography, and so much more. A little tardy today, but he's here because he's working. And you can reach me anytime to get us out to talk to you about listing and getting your home on the market and sold. You can reach me at 376-5483. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show. Thank you so much, Barbara Corcoran. I watched Barbara doing her Shark Tank thing last week, and she's a tough cookie when she wants to be. Let me tell you, Greg and I know it from personal experience. You do not want to be trading barbs with the likes of Barbara.
Yeah, she's exactly like she is in real life, yeah.
Yeah, but on TV, I got it.
Yeah.
Also with us, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. You can reach him anytime at 499-6360. And Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. You can get your loan going immediately. Great rates, great people. And Randy's number is 6450736. So one of the things I am a big fan of is doing it yourself, folks. This past week, I pressure washed the deck and put a hole in my my hot tub cover when I accidentally tried to do something, and then stained the deck after a couple of days. And while I was doing something else, the roller went down the steps of concrete steps and left marks all the way down. So yes, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, but I come to you with concerns that maybe I should not be doing some of these things. So here's some quick tips. Treating complete clogs in your drain with chemical cleaners, because they're formulated to clear stubborn clogs. The chemicals clear clogs by eating through hair, fat, and other substances, stopping the drain line. In most cases, drain cleaners can be used to clear partial clogs without causing significant plumbing damage. When a drain is completely clogged, though, the chemical drain cleaner doesn't have anywhere to go. It sits in the drain line and eats away at the clog and potentially your pipes. So call a plumber. That's a suggestion. Installing structures on a septic field, that goes without saying. Pressure washing siding and shingles. Why didn't I read this prior to doing that? Yeah. Because if too heavy a pressure will go right through the shingles, it'll destroy them. Installing new flooring over old flooring, not so good. Don't conceal your AC unit with shrubs or behind fences because it doesn't get a breeze. It will not operate as efficiently. Don't fix HVAC leaks yourself with duct tape. No, don't do that. Don't hide electrical junction boxes if you're covering up a wall, because then it's buried in the wall and you got problems. You won't be able to find it. And never use latex paint to cover oil paint. I've done that in the past years before I learned you don't do that. Latex over oil indicates, or eventually means, you know what that means? It means you're going to have paint that's peeling off.
Just melt off.
That's what does it.
Yeah. Oh, you did that?
Latex over oil. Okay.
Yeah, don't do that. Yes. Do not.
Somebody that downstairs in the girls' bathroom, and it just peeled right off.
Yes. So I think there's a sealer you have to.
Yeah, kills it. It's like whatever you put over it.
Yeah, ask at the big box store. But I'm just telling you, that's now. Look at Chuck's learned something today. Oh, all right.
We bugged me like 6 years now.
Oh, well, now you know.
We keep trying to fix it, and now we know why.
Now we know it didn't work. Noelle is sent us an email. She said she's buying a home, and then all of a sudden her mom died. Sorry to hear that, Noelle. And she says she's now faced with paying some of the bills that her mom left behind, especially for the funeral. Noelle says she doesn't have the money to go forward with the house at this point. And the good news, she says, is that she never sent over the good faith money. So this is a little bit different take on what we just talked about. Does that mean that the contract is void since it's been a week since she sent over the contract, since it was accepted? Chuck, you're saying, yeah.
I say, no, that doesn't void a contract. If you don't do something that you're supposed to do, and then you go, oh, I didn't do it, my contract is void, doesn't work that way.
Right.
That's bad.
Right. Yeah. But then, that would just negate what we talked about earlier. But what you would just have to go through with if they'd done inspections and go that route, I'm assuming.
That doesn't do. But I've had it set up where, what was it? Something similar like that happened after all the timelines had been successfully met.
Even more stringent. Yeah.
Trying to use my mom died as the reason out of the deal, and that
it doesn't work. You're breaking up a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Right, it does not.
Got it. Yeah. All right. Well, Noelle, we wish you the very best. Sorry about mom, but just note what you need to do is talk to your agent, find out if you need a release officially so that you can get out of the contract.
Yeah, just try to at least send one over, tell them what's going on. You're sounds like you might even be before inspections. If it's only been 10 days, you might be right through there. If you haven't sent over the earnest money, chances are they probably haven't sent the money over for an inspection. So,
Randy, this question's for you. Emma is a first-time home buyer. She listens to us all the time, and she's asking what are the first steps in getting pre-approved for a home mortgage. What would you say from your perspective, Mr. Rocky?
Yeah, so what we do is we send a link over, and then they fill out the application, and then we pull credit, and then we verify their income and assets, and then we get them a pre-approval letter.
Great. And
I'd heard a good time frame, and I know this well because Randy helped me get my first house, which got me on a great track because I didn't have the best credit when I went for my first house. But apply for your mortgage if you know you're going to buy a house 6 months plus in advance, at least 6 months, so that you really know where you are, where you stand, what you can afford, especially in the changing market. Don't just do it right before you're trying to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. And you shop. I mean, I would also shop. A lot of lenders have a little different in rates, but what you're looking for is service. And I both Greg and I can attest to Swan having great service as well as good rates. Jimmy, he sounds like a nice guy. He sent us an email saying that his fiance's mom passed away owning taxes. This is the one I was telling you about. Had asked him to call you. He said the taxes were due this past Tuesday. His fiance's brother refuses to pay his half of his mom's taxes. I guess the fiance is paying half. And there's also a concern that a will may have been forged. A second will had to be done, and basically it's all out there. So Jimmy is wondering, how can he help his fiance? He's just trying to be a nice guy about this.
Well, the property taxes aren't going to be that much. So, there's always that you pay them and go after for the difference if you owe them, but more than likely it would be the estate that would have to pay it. And to get the estate going, you have to tell the will. Then if you think a will is improperly, if it was under duress or it's fake or forged, although I hear that a lot, I can't say as I've seen it more than once. Hear that a lot. Or if mom signed it and she was incompetent, there's all kinds of reasons you can try and have a will set aside. What you do is you get yourself an attorney and you make an appearance in the probate. A will is just a piece of paper until it's probated. Okay. That's when it becomes something. Okay. But I don't see how if mom passes and there's no will probated, why they're responsible for paying taxes.
Do you go to court to probate?
I don't do probate. I always pass people off to one of two folks who do that sort of thing. And I know exactly who I'd send this one to. Yeah, because you want someone who also litigates in that arena. My guy's pretty good at that.
So, Jimmy, I'm going to give you Chuck's number here in a few minutes, and I would call him, and he'll give you some direction on this. Back over to Randy. Lucas writes in with this question, he's another first-time home buyer. We're getting a lot of first-time home buyers in the market these days. He knows there's more than one type of mortgage out there, but what type of mortgage is best for him? How does he and others, how do they decide, Randy? Let's go through the types of mortgages, and then how do you pick?
Sure. So there's a USDA mortgage, which is in rural areas. You have a VA loan, which is for military. You have an FHA loan, which basically anybody can get, and conventional, which, those two, a conventional, not everybody can get because of credit score, and not everybody can get it. You still have to be obviously approved FHA, but real briefly on the USDA is a minimum 620 credit score, no money down. VA is the same. You can't get in situations where you can go 580. FHA is 580, and then conventional you will be 680 credit score and above. On the FHA, your debt compared to your income, they go higher than a conventional by about 10%. So there will be situations where you would use FHA over conventional if you're wanting to buy a bigger home and you have your debt to income is really tight on approval.
So there's a lot to this, and I guess based on his credit score in this case, Lucas's credit score, that's really where he's going to end up deciding what loan is best for him. And if he's a vet, then a VA loan may fit him as well.
That's right. And there's non-qualified mortgages, which you can get in a whole plethora of options where people can do stated income or not stated income on self-employed borrowers and all that. So yes, to answer your question, Bob, you said it very well. It's pretty complicated. We whittle it down and make it very easy for our clients, but at the very beginning, we got to do what's best for the client as far as rate and terms and what best fits them.
We are just about out of time. If you are thinking of putting your home on the market, you're looking for some tips, we've got a booklet. It's free, no obligation. It's all about helping to sell your home, some useful tips within it. If you want a copy, send me an email, bob@WeSellLouisville.com. Put selling tips in the subject line, and I will send that out to you ASAP via email. Our thanks to Chuck Crosby, and if you want to talk to Chuck not only about closings, but also about wills.
Put it this way, if I don't do it, I know who does.
There you go. So this is a valuable, very valuable
wide
number.
dragnet.
Yeah, he has a wide net of people. So Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Office is 499-6360. And then if you're looking to finance your home, whether it's a refi or a purchase, you can reach Randy Rocky at Swan Financial at 645-0736. I thank my son, Greg, who does our marketing, photography, and so much more. And you can reach me anytime on my cell phone. Just call me. Even now, I'm getting off the air. You can reach me. 376-5483. That's right. I will pick up the phone. 376-5483. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We will see you next Sunday right here on News Radio 840 WHAS.